stock, which is what we've talked about already. I've got a couple of videos I'd like you to watch.
Yasmin is in the last year of her teacher education and as part of her program is required to develop an e-portfolio that captures her learning journey. The portfolio takes the form of web pages through which Yasmin creates windows into her learning, demonstrating her focus and thinking at any point in time. The portfolio is her voice and tells her story through significant artefacts and ongoing reflections. Because it's her voice, the learning windows reflect Yasmin's interests. The first one she created focused on science education.
I chose science because it was a subject that I found a little bit daunting. I didn't think I knew enough about it, and I didn't think I could prepare myself enough for a lesson just because of how broad it can be and what kind of questions and details the students might ask. So I've put on here a little summary of my personal thoughts about it. I had my full lesson plan over here. It was very, very in-depth, and it had all the details about diagnostic, about learning experiences, the activities, the questions. Looking at this now, it actually shows me how far I've come. It's something that I feel now is not what I would need when I write a lesson, but looking back on it, that's exactly what I needed to start off, because you need to have everything laid out for you. There's the behaviour management, there's the equipment, there's everything. So having that clear in front of you just makes it so much easier until it becomes second nature, which I feel has become second nature now for me. There's photos of the children conducting their experiments, playing. It was an experiment about evaporation, so they were just discussing where the water goes. The assessment tasks, photos of the assessment task after the lesson. After completing it and looking at it and getting feedback on it, it made me realise that with hard work and perseverance that you can actually achieve quite a bit, and putting it on this learning window actually showed me that I was able to do it.
Learning windows can provide opportunities to link professional practice and pedagogical understandings, as in Yasmin's behaviour management window.
Well, the topic of my third learning window is behaviour management. The reason I chose that is because it was very relevant to me at the time this learning window was due. I had issues with behaviour management at my second practicum, and I needed to reflect very deeply on what was happening and why it was happening and what I needed to do to make myself better at it. So what I've got on my third learning window is my Practicum 3 behaviour management goals, what my action plan was and what I did to achieve it. On this learning window I've actually got the feedback about my behaviour management strategies from the visiting lecturer, from my associate teacher.
As well as writing samples, research projects and photos, the learning window can include videos.
My experiences in behaviour management helped me look at what I was doing right or wrong. Through adding all the details here, it adds up. You don't realise as it comes at you that you are getting good feedback or that you're doing well. But when you're looking at it in hindsight, or when you're adding it all, it makes you think about how you've done, reflect on where you've gone, where you came from and where you're going.
This ability to return to a learning window over time is invaluable. Also important is the opportunity for students to share their work and receive feedback from peers, lecturers, associate teachers and school coordinators. This way, links between school practice and theory are deepened. The e-portfolio has the additional function of presenting evidence of the student having met the Teaching Council's standards, and Yasmin's final learning window specifically addressed this.
My final learning window was a consolidation of everything. It was to make sure that we'd done all the work and that it was meeting the New Zealand Teachers' Standards. We had the professional knowledge, professional practice and professional values and relationships, which are in the graduating teacher standards. And I've just included how I feel that I've met these sections in the graduating teacher standards. I've had a little bit at the end about where to from here, so my own personal goals for what to do after I graduate.
At the end of the year, students get the opportunity to present their e-portfolios to their peers and lecturers. It's a celebration of their learning journey and a time for students to articulate their emerging philosophy of teaching by showing examples of their work from their e-portfolios.
I felt that the presentation at the end of the year was to celebrate our learning journey, and we were able to see other people's learning journeys as well, which each person had their own personal journey and it was different, and it was really interesting. You sit there in the presentation and you want to listen to the next person, you want to listen to the next person after that, because every experience was different.
Students can also share their e-portfolios with prospective employers. They can adapt or repurpose their learning windows to showcase their strengths and abilities.
The day after our final presentation, I had an interview with a school and I was actually hired on the spot. The reason that they were so interested is the fact that I had so much experience with the e-portfolios. As a new teacher, you feel that you're not necessarily as good as all those teachers that have years and years of experience, but in actual fact of the knowledge of everything digital, it actually helps give you an edge as a new graduate to get a job.